Some 400,000 cases of COVID-19 are being reported daily in India, with nearly 4,000 dying every day from COVID there.
They celebrated too soon.
Meaning following the first wave to hit India. That lawyer among the Indian Americans gathered at the Connecticut Valley Hindu Temple Society in Middletown this morning, pleading for assistance for their native country.
This battle will not be over until everybody stays on the mask, until everybody else is vaccinated. That's the mistake India did.
Stamford-based AmeriCares has so far provided more than 7.6 million units of personal protective equipment and nearly 5,000 pieces of critically needed medical equipment to India.
To date, we have worked with over 100 health facilities in 14 states in India.
And Senator Richard Blumenthal says assisting India is not just a humanitarian gesture. India is one of our leading trade partners.
India's trade is vital to this country's economy. India is one of our most vibrant and vigorous trading partners.
India has roughly 4 times the population of the U.S. on half of the landmass, and it's not uncommon for 20 people to be living under one roof.
My sister's hospital has 700 beds and 500 are occupied by COVID patients.
A Yale doctor who is a native of India says his healthcare system at home is overwhelmed and has likely already collapsed.
I think it'll take a long time for India to recover. So I really think that India should go on a complete shutdown or lockdown at least a few weeks.
India's over 22 million reported cases is second only to the United States' 32 million. In Middletown, Tony Terzi, Fox 61 News.